As long as you have fear, you only get worse, you don't get better. And that's what the Democrats and the liberal, the media has. If they can intimidate you, then they can control you. If they can make you angry, then they can control you. All angry people are blind. They're asleep and don't know it. The eyes are open, they're moving about, but they're asleep. I realize that most black people are suffering not because of racism, this lie about racism, but the destruction of the family and the lack of moral character. I am Jesse Lee Peterson, founder and president of the Bond, a nonprofit organization, the Brotherhood Organization of a New Destiny, and we are rebuilding the family by rebuilding the man. The worst thing that can happen to boys and girls is to turn them away from their fathers, because when you turn them away from their fathers, you turn them away from God, their own identity. The father represents Christ, and when you hate your earthly father, you hate God. My problem was I resented my mother, and I resented her because she turned me away from my father, or at least tried to. I went and forgave my mother. I went to her. It was the hardest thing I ever had to do in life. I went and told her that, all of my life, and I was 38 at the time, I said, all of my life I resented you because you tried to turn me away from my father. You had no patience, and I become like you. And I'm sorry, I realize now that you couldn't help yourself. And when I forgave her, God forgave me, and he took away the anger. And with the anger, the fear disappeared, the doubt, the worry, and all that stuff. And I realized then that black people were suffering not because of racism, but the destruction of the family and the lack of moral character. And so I went back to God after he showed me what was wrong. I said, well, you've changed my heart, you've changed my values. I can no longer identify with the Democratic platform because the Democratic platform is anti-God, anti-family, anti-country, anti-military, anti-unborn child. I said, I can't identify with that anymore. Can you forgive me? And God said, oh yeah, no problem. And so he forgave me, and I became a Republican conservative. And I am 100% Republican conservative. I'm so far right that I can hardly see myself. When I was a Democrat, anything goes. I blame white people for all my weakness and failures, and I suffered for it. And it wasn't until I really began to look at myself to understand if I'm black and racism is holding me back, according to the Democrats and the race hustlers like the NAACP, the Congressional Black Caucus, and most of the black preachers, they say, well, you can't make it because of racism. And I thought about it after a while. If racism is holding me back, why is it that it's not holding the black people back who are telling me that it's racism? They were married, their kids were going to good schools, and that's when I realized I had been lied to, that it wasn't about racism, that white people were not holding me back, and the Democrats didn't care about me. They were lying to me. They keep telling black people over and over again, the Republican Party is a party of racist white men who hate black people. Look at us, we love you, we care about you, it's not your problem, here's some free stuff. And generations of blacks are addicted to that for the last 60 years or so, and that's why most of them are stuck on the Democratic plantation, and a lot of blacks are unable to leave because of that mentality, and in some cases they are afraid to leave because they are attacked by their family members, they are attacked by others. The Democratic plantation really is worse than the plantation that I grew up on. And I grew up on a plantation down in Alabama. I grew up under the Jim Crow laws. And I remember for colors only sign, whites only sign. But the one thing that did not happen, we were not told about so-called racism. We worked hard. My grandparents worked hard, and their parents worked hard. We were very independent. Unlike the Democratic Party, their plantation caused you to become dependent on them and not on yourself. And once you become addicted to that, they will not let you off. And if you try to get off, you are attacked. You're called Uncle Tom, a sellout, the N-word, and all kind of craziness because they do not want you to leave that plantation. But we gave black people a black president. I didn't vote for him, but white people did. And instead of getting better, the races are more divided. And it's not a race problem, it's a spiritual problem. I wanted to find a way to get the word out. I talked to a friend of mine. I said, I'd like to get the word out that Black people are suffering due to the lack of moral character. It has nothing to do with color. I just wanted to have a discussion about what was really wrong. We had a meeting and about 100 or so people showed up, and I told them what I said, look, it's not about color, it's about character. Men and women need to return to God, raise your children, stop whining and begging. And the meeting was so good that they asked, well, let's have another one. So we had a second one. And then another one, and one thing led to another. Every year we have a men's conference on Father's Day weekend when we bring men in. They come in from around the world, and we deal with men issues, showing these guys how to get back on track. Well, it is working because once they overcome their anger, they feel better about themselves, they can move on. All right, folks, welcome back. I'm Jesse Lee Peterson. We're going to get back to the phones here in a minute. Everybody and their mama are watching the Father's Day around the world. I'm not making this up. Are you nervous?
No.
Are you not nervous?
No.
You better be.
Right, lots of people say this, lots of people say that. Well, lots of people say you're a moron, dude. I mean, like, lots of people say lots of stuff.
I'm surprised that you are not enjoying this. I enjoy, trying to get people to see and know themselves. Do you consider yourself a feminist?
Yes, I'm a feminist.
No wonder you didn't know what a man was. It's not like normal for a man to dress like a woman or feel that way, or a woman to dress and feel like a man.
That's your perception.
Do
Jesse,
good by Black people.
Don't oversell it, Jesse.
Some get mad and so angry that they walked off. Where you going?
I'm leaving
Why are you leaving?
because
I interview people on the left, far left. I interview alt-right people. You look like a skinhead.
Yeah.
Do you know that?
Yeah.
Why is it that white folks are the primary creators? They make things right. And the other races can't seem to do it. Some of the worst liberal Democrats and whatever they do, men and women. I think they come on because, first of all, it helps get the message out. But I don't display anger and hatred toward them. It's not a personal thing to me just because you disagree or you may call me a name.
You're boxing everything, and this is not an open discussion at all.
I love you. I'm not angry with you. I love you and I feel sorry for you.
And sometimes they're like yelling and screaming. I'm like, look, I have one more question. What is it? Did you have fun? And that's kind of throw them off, Final question for you.
Yes, sir.
Did you have fun? Did you have fun? Did you have fun?
I had so much fun.
What I'm just amazed by is that these people on the left, they speak out, they support whoever they want to, they're loud about it. I have the same right to do the same thing. I live in America. I have the freedom to vote for whomever I want and to talk about voting for them and support them outwardly without being threatened. I started White History Month the 1st of July 2018. Happy White History Month. And the reason for doing it is because if you notice, we have so-called Black History Month, we have Women History Month. Why do we have all of these months to celebrate and don't have White History Month? What's something wrong with that? Because if it wasn't for white people, there would be no America. If it wasn't for white people, these people of color and all this crap that's going on, they would not have this country to come to. And so white history is not appreciated. And I have to tell you, if we don't appreciate white history, it's over for the country. A lot of family members have turned against me. A lot of my friends have turned away. But I don't care. It doesn't matter. I love what's right. I love my country. And I don't need a difference. What we need to do to unite the country, all people, Black, white, Japanese, Mexicans, everybody, you gotta look at self first, get to know thyself, so you can see what's going on with you, and you can overcome that anger and become an individual of love, meaning God's love operating through you. I wanna see human beings judging each other based on character and not color, the way it was when I was growing up. I especially want to see families again. I want to see men and women getting married and become good examples for their children, so that they can see the right way to go, so that when they go out into the world, they won't be deceived. I really want to see America great again. And the only way it's going to happen, we got to bring back the values, the moral values, and the belief in God that built this great nation. And I have a sense that we're on our way right now back to that.